HYTALE is available to download as of today, and this is your HYTALE Day 1 Survival Guide. Now, this video is going to be a lot more than just a surviving your first night in-game sort of thing, but rather, it'll be a surviving your first day with the game kind of video. We're going to cover a lot of ground, and I will warn you when spoilers might show up. Whether you want to play the game's exploration mode for all that it has to offer, or you want to push this game's much anticipated building tools to their limits, or you're just here to see what all the fuss is about, I'm gonna help you get started. And hopefully, I'll save you some time if you give me a few minutes of your time. If you plan on buying the game, consider using code AntVenom at checkout, as it directly helps me out at no additional cost to you. Thank you. So let's get into the HYTALE Day 1 Survival Guide. A portion of this video is sponsored by Apex Hosting, more about them later. So we have a lot of ground to cover before we even get in-game, so just so you know, we'll be in-game by this timestamp. First off, download the launcher, install it, install the game, and then start up HYTALE. I can't believe the day is finally here. So, starting from the main menu, we have Worlds, Minigames, Servers, My Avatar, and Settings. Before actually making your first world, now would probably be the best time for you to make your avatar if you want to make one. If you're used to how things work in Minecraft Java Edition, you might be surprised to find out that there are no options to just upload a skin of your own making, but HYTALE does provide quite a few options of its own, and you can customize the color on effectively every single item, and modded custom skin options should be available in due time. Some of you might spend 5 minutes in this menu, while others might be here for hours. Go nuts. Let me know what you think of this AntVenom character recreation. Next up, Settings. I won't be diving into these options in detail, but you should know that there are quite a few options here that can be adjusted, and as you play HYTALE and get more used to it, you might want to tinker around with quite a few of these settings, so just be aware of that because there are a lot of them. So now, I think we're ready to load up our very first world. Well, almost. A word of caution before you go to create your first world. If you want a pure Day 1 survival experience, much like what many of us have always wished we could relive with Minecraft, then just fire up an exploration world and get used to playing the game naturally. Have that first experience. Pause this video and just play HYTALE. If you want that first experience to be with your friends, then you have two options. The first is a local hosting option that lets players join your single player world so long as you have it loaded, and the second is a more traditional paid server hosting option. So, option number 1. To do this, pause the game once you're in the world, hit online play, click allow other players to join, set a password if you want to, and then hit save. A button to copy a share code to your clipboard will appear, and you can send this over to your friends. Keep in mind that the share code does contain your IP address, so only send it to people that you trust. Seriously. Once you send the code, they just have to go to their servers tab on the main menu, hit join via code, and paste in the code. Assuming you don't run into any networking issues that prevent someone from joining, they'll be able to just join your world, and that's that. If you want a more traditional server experience where players can join freely and you don't have to keep your computer on 24/7, then this video's sponsor, Apex Hosting, will have vanilla and modded server options available from day 1. Apex Hosting are an official HYTALE launch partner, and they're already working on easy CurseForge integration to make mod installations a seamless process. This is especially helpful if you're planning on pushing the game's building and creative tools to their limits with custom content. All of their servers use powerful hardware to ensure a lag-free experience right out of the gate, and they have 24/7 support if you need help with the setup. Support me by using the link in the description to get started. So, with all of the options covered to get you and your friends in-game, I think we're ready. First, I'll start with exploration mode, as that's my specialty, and then after, we'll dive into creative mode, and I'll show you around there as well. Now, when you go to create a world, take note of the settings icon, as there are a few items in here that you'll want to know about. I'll leave them at default for now, but if you want to change these settings later, you can by just right-clicking on your world within the world list after you make it. Here lies an option that'll take you straight to where your world saves are as well, so that's handy. Alright, let's create the world and actually hop in. Welcome to HYTALE's Exploration Mode, which is akin to Minecraft Survival. Even though it's incomplete and we should expect many updates to change things in the future, for what it is right now, Exploration Mode is a pretty well-rounded experience that'll give you well over 24 hours of content to discover. You're likely to spend your first hour learning just how different HYTALE is from Minecraft. I won't spoil the details of exactly where to explore and where to find specific crafting supplies and whatnot, but just know that you'll have to travel all throughout the world, and especially certain biomes both above and below ground, in order to gather all the things that you'll need. Opening up your inventory for the first time will reveal that there is no crafting grid in HYTALE. Just find the right amount of whatever materials the recipe calls for and craft it. One is a campfire where you can cook food, one is a bed which will let you sleep the night away and set your spawn point, with the rest being basic supplies that I'm sure you'll get the hang of. Two of the items that you can craft, however, are workbenches. The builder's workbench lets you put in a variety of building blocks like every variation of wood and stone, and I'm sure a lot more, and it'll present you a ton of different output options to help you make your first build as perfect as you could want it to be. It's like if Minecraft Stonecutter got an upgrade. The regular workbench will show you a wide variety of tool upgrades, some miscellaneous items, and 10 additional workbench-like items along with a furnace that all serve their own unique purpose. As you dive into what each one has to offer, you might notice that some of the items are locked and require for you to upgrade that workbench in order to craft any specific item, which you can do by finding the required supplies as listed on the right side of that workbench when it's open. I'm not going to get into exactly what each workbench does in this video, as I want you to experience all of that naturally, but there are brief explanations about every crafting recipe and many of the base items if you just hover over those items. Whenever you're in a workbench that requires a specific kind of item to just be dropped into it, hovering over the empty input square will highlight any of the items in your inventory that are compatible with that workbench. And last, but certainly not least, before we go exploring, opening up any interface like the inventory, a chest, or any of the workbenches will show these icons on the top right of each interface that are worth knowing about. My favorite has to be the quick stack button, which will let you quick deposit any items that are in your inventory into a chest if the chest already contains that item. Super useful if you keep things organized, because it lets you empty out a lot of your inventory really quickly once you've returned from an adventure. And speaking of adventure, now is the time that we're going to step out into the world at large. Given the spoiler-free nature of this video, there's only one key detail about the world at large that I'm going to cover here, and the rest will be up to you for now. This will be a mild spoiler, but if you miss this detail and play for hours before finding it, you will regret it. HYTALE has an integrated in-game map that you can get to by pressing the M key. The map will show all of the terrain that's currently rendered, it'll show you nearby structures to check out later, and most importantly, it'll show you the location of the nearest forgotten temple gateway. Look for this structure shape if the icon doesn't show up on the map. Approach it carefully, and once you go through the gateway, make your way down to the Heart of Orbis and unlock the Memories feature. Now, anytime that you encounter a mob throughout the world, a memory of it will be logged, and you can bring any and all memories that you find back to the Heart of Orbis, with there being various rewards depending on how many memories that you've collected. If you can collect all 240 of them and see every mob that HYTALE currently has to offer, then it's safe to say that you've gotten a pretty full experience of HYTALE's Exploration Mode. I can't say much more without spoiling the adventure, so now let's hop on over to Creative Mode. Much like the previous segment, this is going to focus more on getting you set on the right path if this is the mode that you feel like playing with. Also, Creative Mode is not exactly my strong suit, but I can definitely help you along in knowing where to look for various tools. So, the options for making a creative world are a little different than a survival world, with the key one being a selection for which world type you want the world to be. If you keep it on Creative Hub though, you'll be able to access all world types via portals within the Creative Hub. If you plan on messing with everything, the first thing you'll probably want to do is run the command op-self, as many of the commands are not available in creative mode if you don't do this first. After that, bring up your inventory and check out the Creative Tools tab. The first item we'll naturally take a look at are the Builder's Tools, which just takes us back to the inventory. But as you can see, things are a little bit different here. On the far right are a bunch of options that you can mess with, so if you want to be able to no-clip through blocks, that's over there. And then there are 3 tabs that let you cycle through every single block and item that the game has to offer, including the rifle, which you need crude arrows to fire. Have fun with that one on your multiplayer server. The 4th tab of the inventory, though, is easily the most innovative, and I can't wait to see what people do with it. But here's something I whipped up with just 2 tools to give you a brief idea. I wanted to recreate the idea of the dueling peaks from Breath of the Wild, so I set my paintbrush settings to let me build a bunch of tall peaks really quickly, painted a whole ton of stone roughly in the shape that I wanted, smoothed it all out with the smoothing tool, and then I changed my paintbrush material to grass, and I set the mask to stone so it wouldn't add any additional land. It would only paint on top of what I had just made. And there we go. It's not much, but I made it in 5 minutes, and I'm not a creative builder, and I barely know what I'm doing here. Feel free to toy around with these menus and try some of these tools out for yourself. If you're a modder who plans on coding with HYTALE, or you plan on making custom models, or both, then you'll definitely want to check out the Assets tab. These are not my specialties, but I'm betting there will be some good videos covering these features in the days following this video's release. Next, there's the Help menu, which will give you an ordered list of every single command that HYTALE has to offer, along with descriptions on how to use many of them. Over time, I do hope that more examples get added to each of these entries, and I also hope we get tab completion for writing out commands much like we have in Minecraft, but for day 1 HYTALE, it's pretty good, and there is a lot to mess with. Next, there's the Machinima tab, which provides you the ability to create your own cinematic masterpieces entirely in-game, with a camera tool, a timeline to edit keyframes, and so much more that I plan on learning how to use in the near future. Then there's the World tab, which just has a whole bunch of fun options. You can import any OBJ file and just paste it into your world, which I'm sure we'll see a lot of, especially within HYTALE's first month. You can do the same thing with image files, which will paste the image with blocks for pixels. You can spawn entities, particles, or any of the prefabricated structures that you'll see all over an exploration world, and many that are just not in use at all. And then you can change your player model if you feel like role-playing on your server as a fox, or a Quebec, or anything. Just be careful with models that are really small, otherwise things can break pretty quickly. And that pretty much covers it. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of little details that I missed all over the place because there's like a billion settings that you can mess around with, but I hope this guide served as a good first step into whatever facet of HYTALE that you feel like playing around with. Now go out and enjoy your first adventure with the game. If you're about to go and buy it, don't forget to use my creator code at checkout if you feel like it. I hope you all enjoyed. My name is AntVenom, and thanks for watching.